This video may be upsetting to some viewers. It wasn't as dark as you would think it would be, at least for a villain's lair. Though Lucius insisted he was not a villain, nor evil. But this place was fairly bright. Even with his gothic colour scheme, it was very well lit. Stone braziers were placed evenly around the entire area, burning with a bright purple flame. Plenty of candelabra and chandeliers sharing the same mysterious fire. It seemed Lucius Nord took a lot of inspiration from 12th and 16th century Earth, at least with all his gothic decor. Though the heavy curtains surrounding the mirror seemed more 18th century, stylish all the same, and it fit well. Though she'd never let him hear that from her. It wouldn't be that hard to keep her mouth shut, at least in that regard. Complimenting Lucius was not in her repertoire of snarky remarks. Of course, Lucius also had made it clear that pets were to be seen, not heard. Opening her mouth at all often led to punishment. This never stopped Wolve. She was oftentimes more than happy to offer a snide remark to something he'd said. It was all she could do these days to remain sane in his little gothic mansion. After all, she may be his damned pet, but that didn't mean she had to play his games. It was this attitude that put her in her current predicament. She'd been doing what little she could to feel any kind of power in this living hell, arguing with him and doing her best to one-up him. He was winning. He always won. Was always one step ahead. Always had an easy rebuttal to any argument she posed. He did it with ease. A mere flick of his wrist, as if she was nothing but a fly. As if she wasn't even worth his time. But that's when it happened. Whether he was frustrated with the petty childish arguing, or if he was just bored with her babbling. Lucius suddenly released a flurry of glitter into the air, though given his penchant for flair, he couldn't help but throw the glitter in the most fashionista way. However, whatever flair he had planned was spoiled as Wolve felt a spray of agony spread across her exposed eye. Almost like 1,000 flecks of glass had just been thrown directly into her face. It happened so quickly. One moment they were bickering, and the next her vision was stained red, pain ripping through her skull, and all she could do was focus on the stabbing agony in her left eye.
Well, that's what happens when you walk into a cloud of mirror shards.
The what? Wolve was having trouble processing anything he was saying. All she could focus on was the sharp glass daggers in her eye, the stabbing agony that felt like it was tearing all the way into her skull. She couldn't see past the blood. Her vision completely obscured. She couldn't see him. Had no idea what he was doing. Was he preparing to finish the job? Or had he just left her here to bleed and suffer? Though, as the agonizing seconds passed by, she grew more and more aware of the world outside the pain. Of blood running down her cheek, her wails of pain, the feeling of blood clotting into her hair. Right, her hair. Wolve did her best to focus on her trembling hands, swelling her whimpering to reach up and just push her fringe aside. If one eye was blinded, she could clear vision for the other. At the very least she could see what Lucius was doing. Surprisingly, he was waiting, somewhat patiently. Though, at seeing her looking up at him, he gave a saccharine smile.
Let me fix that for you.
He doesn't touch her. He doesn't need to. Instead, Wolve finds herself falling briefly, then landing not so gently on a surgical table. The mirror that had teleported her, giving her the mercy of not shattering on top of her. Yet. Lucius was already beside the table, behaving as if he'd long ago prepared for this one moment. He probably had, already causing such grief on another one of his victims, given he had such glitter on hand. Right now he was studying surgical tools, holding them to the light before finally selecting a fine needle. He smiles at her, but it only fills Wolve with dread. Hey, now, do I at least get some painkillers? I mean, it's the least you can do after... He doesn't listen to her, one hand reaching to hold her still, while the other ready as his chosen instrument. She debates speaking up, begging, pleading, but the thought of him missing due to her jostling quickly changes her mind. But why a needle? Wouldn't tweezers or something less stabby be better? Unless he planned to remove her eye completely. Like an olive with a toothpick. She'd barely reached that horrific conclusion when she felt a sharp sting add to the waves of agony. That's it for today's video. Stay safe, stay kind, and stay creative. I'd like to thank everyone for watching today's video. I try to post every Tuesday and Friday at 2 AM Australian Eastern Daylight Time, or 9 AM Central Standard Time. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Please comment if you have something to say. If you want to see more speed paints and animations, please subscribe. A very special thank you to my patrons Dean G, Debbie G, Thomas H, and Greg W. If you want to support my art and see things first, become a patron with the link below. And please make your day a wonderful one. Goodbye!